Hello and welcome to this special podcast focused on enabling hybrid workplace with new Webex AI-based innovation. This is Ankush Kumar, editor, Tech Observer magazine. I am joined by Mr. Pankaj Agrawal, director, collaboration business at Cisco India and SAARC. As a seasoned industry leader, Mr. Agrawal is responsible for driving Cisco's strategy and growth for collaboration business in India. He helps customers innovate in this digital world and gets diverse people from different backgrounds to collaborate effectively and solve complex business problems. Welcome to the podcast, Mr. Agrawal.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you too. Begin by asking you, it has been over 10 months now that the working from home for most organizations have become a new normal. Could you tell us more about how the pandemic has changed the work environment?
Sure. So, as you said, Ankush, a forced work from home experience has caused many organizations to realize that offices may not be a necessity to drive productivity. In fact, a recent Gartner survey shows that 74% of CEOs are considering keeping their workforces remote even post the pandemic. So people are realizing that work is an activity and not a place. We saw announcements from several organizations in India as well as globally speaking about the fact that they plan to keep their workforces remote, at least some part of their workforces remote, even post-pandemic. So TCS, Facebook, these are some prominent names. Now, besides this, we also worked with a research organization to poll a large number of people, about 1,500 respondents globally, to understand what they think about how the future of work is going to be. The results were interesting. So about 58% people said that they expect to be working from home at least 8 days in a month. That's about 1/3 of their time. Also, 98% people said that they expect future meetings to have at least one remote participant. So this brings us to the concept of hybrid work and hybrid workplaces. Hybrid workplaces are basically workplaces which enable employees to be productive irrespective of where they are working from. So an employee can decide on the day where he wants to work from. So as an example, if the person is expecting to do a lot of heads down work, he or she may choose to work from home or even from a co-working place close to his house, because that saves the time in travel and avoids interruptions in the work.
Right.
Whereas if you are expecting to be doing team meetings, to be doing a town hall discussion or training sessions where you expect interactions, you would decide to work from the office. So these are several scenarios which are emerging now, and we can be sure that the workplace has changed not just for now, but for the foreseeable future.
Fair enough. So, according to you, how are organizations and employees reacting to this new work scenario? Could you share your views from a global and Indian perspective on this?
Yeah, sure. As I said, the future is going to be hybrid, and there are clear benefits for both employers as well as employees of a hybrid workplace. For employers, I believe the biggest benefit is the expansion of the talent pool for them. So organizations can now go ahead and recruit housewives, for example, who only want to put in 3 or 4 hours of work in a day by choice, but they can't be employed currently. They can recruit part-time workers, gig workers. They can also employ people, talent from tier 2 and tier 3 cities who are not willing to relocate to the places where the organization has offices. So that's a big benefit for employers. And for employees, of course, it gives them flexibility. It makes them more productive. It takes away the hassle and the pain of travel and all of that. But at the same time, there are several changes that organizations have to make to this new reality. So this survey that I spoke about also showed that 97% people said that they expect their organizations to make changes in order to ensure that they are productive in the new working scenario, and also for them to feel safe when they're returning to work, because we need to accept that when people are returning to work, there would still be a threat of infection. So organizations have to make these changes. I'll just talk about a few things that I believe organizations will have to change in both of these situations.
Right.
So in the first situation, which is about keeping employees productive in a secure remote work scenario, organizations are looking for video conferencing solutions which use AI-based background noise cancellation and virtual backgrounds, because most of us do not have houses which are big enough to have dedicated offices for us. So we will be sharing the space with other people. So all of these factors like background noise cancellation and virtual background become important. At the same time, organizations are looking for solutions which work on low bandwidth, because we are competing for bandwidth with other people who are also similarly logging on to remote meetings or maybe streaming Netflix, etc. Organizations are also looking for personal video conferencing devices. So beyond just doing meetings from mobiles or laptops, if you're going to be doing meetings throughout the day, having a personal video conferencing device really improves productivity. So that's on the first point. On the second point about enabling safe return to work or ensuring that employees feel reassured when they are returning to work, there are several things that organizations to continue to work from home. Organizations might reduce their real estate footprint. So you might have an office of 100 where maybe 150 people come at different points of time. So hot desking solutions, touchless devices, voice control devices, so that employees do not feel worried about getting infected due to touch. Tracking adherence to social distancing norms in meeting rooms or sanitization norms, etc. So, if there are collaboration solutions which can provide that, organizations would be looking for that. So in summary, I would say that organizations are banking on technology to help them cope with these changes to the workplace.
Right. So, as you mentioned, that the future is going to be hybrid, and the fact that a lot of people could be working from home and participating in meetings virtually. So, are virtual meetings really that effective?
Okay, that's an interesting question, and something that a lot of people are asking. So we had a large global event recently, and one large customer CIO made this comment, and I really liked it. So I'm just quoting that comment. He said that during the course of our work, we work with various people, and our relationships with those people are very important in ensuring that we remain productive. And he said that the time that we spend with these people over coffee conversations, over lunch, etc., are the deposits that we are making in those relationships. And the transactional work that we get done with them are the withdrawals that we are doing from those relationships. And he said that perhaps in a remote work scenario, we are making more withdrawals from the relationship than deposits. And that is something that we need to correct. Now, we really understand that, and we work on that. And I believe that a good remote collaboration solution should make remote meetings better than face-to-face meetings, so that you can really have a very high level of engagement.
Fair enough. So, could you give us a bit of more insight on the kind of innovations that Cisco Webex is bringing in to support organizations with this kind of change?
Sure. So we are really pushing the pedal as far as driving innovations is concerned. We're putting in significant investments. So I spoke about this large global event that we conducted last month. We spoke about 50 innovations which we have either introduced or will be introducing in the next 3 months. I'll talk about some of those. So the first one is the unified Webex application, which means that if a customer is using meetings, or they're using messaging, or they're using calling, a large number of customers use Cisco calling, they can do all of that from a single interface. So they don't have to switch clients. And in fact, on that same client, we enable them to integrate other business applications using bots. So actually, they don't have to switch their client, and they can be much more productive. So that is one. Second is using artificial intelligence in various ways to drive innovation. So we've introduced real-time translation and captions in multiple languages. So again, to promote inclusive collaboration, you could have people joining from multiple countries, including non-English speaking countries. They could choose the language in which they want captions. and they could choose translation, so they could speak in the language of their choice, and everybody could collaborate. Again, using artificial intelligence to ensure that devices are controlled by voice so that you don't have to touch. Multiple functions could be done on voice. That is something that we are enabling. Artificial intelligence for noise cancellation, again, a big thing. We have expanded our partner ecosystem to introduce native out-of-box integrations of Webex with popular applications used by organizations, right from Salesforce to ServiceNow to Box to Workplace from Facebook, Dropbox, etc., so that they could work seamlessly with Webex and these applications. Security and privacy is something which has always been core to us. Cisco also, incidentally, is the largest security solutions provider in the world, and we bring in that expertise in Webex as well. And in devices, again, we are introducing a range of innovations. So I spoke about these personal video conferencing devices. We are bringing that innovation to smaller and smaller devices so that we can make these devices affordable so that more and more people can use it. So through all of these efforts around innovation, we are focusing on making the Webex experience 10x better than face-to-face meetings.
These are certainly going to be a game-changing innovations. And thank you so much, Mr. Agrawal, for sharing your views on hybrid workplace and how solutions like Webex can empower organizations in their collaboration journey in new normal. We look forward to hearing and hosting you again. Thank you so much.
It was my pleasure. Thanks again. Bye.